Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Heath. And today we're going to be looking at my personal recommendations for farming 2023 in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. These squads I put together, I think are going to be some of your best options for the coming year. If you don't have them already, some of you might already have. But anyway, let's jump in here. Let's look at these squads I put together, and let's see what we should be farming for 2023. So here we are inside of my account right here, and this is my personal recommendations for a 2023 farm guide. If you haven't got some of these squads, these are some squads I recommend you work on. But we're going to start off at the top. These are in no specific order, but we're going to be looking at CLS with no C3PO. If you're a new account, C3PO is going to be really hard to get because it requires you to farm Ewoks to get them. But these other ones can all be obtained through nodes. So getting CLS unlocked, you're going to be using Rebels. I have actually swapped in old Ben instead of R2D2, but CLS offers you a lot of counters inside of GAC, inside of Territory Wars as well. He's going to give you a really strong team to start off with, and it's going to be able to help you progress inside of GAC and in Territory Wars also. Then we have CLS as well with 3PO, and once you progress enough that you're able to get Ewoks upgraded to 7 stars, finish the event. The event for C3PO is just absolutely annoying. It is so much RNG involved in it, but C3PO is really worth it when it comes to using him with a CLS group. I personally use 3PO on my other account with my Padme because I actually do not have CLS upgraded on that account. But again, 3PO is necessary and makes his team much, much better whenever you have him inside this CLS group. This next squad we're looking at right here is to get Beskar Mando unlocked. If you took advantage of the event inside of Galaxy of Heroes, where you get a free Mandalorian, Grief Karga, IG-11 Khalil, and Cara Dune, it's going to give you one step closer. But farming this squad right here is going to be really useful. It gets you Beskar Mando unlocked, which is the pilot for the Razor Crest, which is the Razor Crest is one of the absolute necessary ships for the Executor, and that takes us to our next group right here, and that is the Bounty Hunter group that is needed for the Executor. We've got Boss, Boba Fett, Dengar, IG-88, Cad Bane. Cad Bane is not a requirement to get the Executor unlocked. However, his ship is mandatory if you're going to have a really good Executor fleet. So getting Cad Bane, getting IG, getting all of these Bounty Hunters unlocked, not only getting these Bounty Hunters unlocked for the Executor, even though Bounty Hunters are required for the Executor, bounty hunters of themselves are absolutely amazing. You can use bounty hunters in a wide variety of the ways to help counter different GLs, to use a wide mix of bounty hunters. So if you're going to farm any squad, I would really recommend farming bounty hunters because they are just so versatile and can be used in so many different ways. Our next squad we're going to look at right here are bugs or Geonosians. Geonosians can be used to unlock Padme inside of the Journey Guide. I ran across a group of bugs inside of Territory Wars the other day. They had Poggle the Lesser with his Omicron ability on. I tried to use my normal squad to counter bugs using Emperor Palpatine, Vader, and Mara Jade. However, I had to bail out because they are just absolutely dominating with Poggle having that Omicron ability. I had to go back after bailing out and use my Darth Revan team to actually take down these bugs inside of Territory War. They're not as effective inside of GAC, but if you're a big fan of Territory War, be sure to pick up the Omicron ability for Poggle because it makes his team absolutely freaking amazing. So once you get the bugs upgraded enough to be able to get Padme unlocked, I think on my mini account, I actually had my bugs up to gear 11 overall to get Padme unlocked completely. But Padme, if you're in a decent sized guild of any size, you're going to be able to get General Kenobi unlocked. General Kenobi is a requirement, really, if you're going to have a really strong Padme team. Anakin and Ahsoka both easily farmable. You can get them from shipments as well. Shock T is going to be one of the requirements. I've included her in this Padme group simply because getting Shock T upgraded, you're going to have it to get gas unlocked, which is one of the farms I would really suggest farming as well. That brings us to the next group, and that is Night Sisters. Everybody that knows me knows I'm a huge fan of Night Sisters, and with the introduction of Marin inside of this squad, it makes this squad that much more viable. But primarily what you're going to be wanting to focus on is getting Ventress upgraded. If you're not worried really about any of the other Night Sisters, she's going to be the main one you want to focus on because she's an actual requirement for getting gas unlocked. So getting her up to Relic 5. If you want to check out the video where I actually got gas unlocked, I'll leave a card at the top so you can actually go back and watch it if you want to check it out. But if you're not really worried about any other Night Sisters, I would absolutely recommend getting Ventress Unlocked because Gas of himself and his squad of 501st is just absolutely amazing. I run him on defense. I use him on offense a lot. So having that 501st team under Gas is going to be really useful. So be sure you get Ventress upgraded at least to a decent relic level. If you don't want to invest in an entire Night Sister team, I would really recommend Daka and the Night Sister Zombie. Both can be used interchangeably in a variety of different groups to help empower and keep a group. I actually ran across a Sith Eternal Emperor group that had Daka and a Night Sister Zombie, and the only counter I had available at the time was my Sith Eternal Emperor as well. And what it came down to was the zombie just kept dying over and over and over again. I actually had no way to target the opposing C, so I ended up timing out. So I ended up having to go back and clean up the C group because of the zombie and Daka combo. This next group we're looking at right here is General Grievous, of course. This squad is just going to be absolutely beast mode for you in a lot of different ways. It can counter a lot of different teams. It can be put on defense if you're using General Grievous inside of territory wars. Droidica's Omicron ability makes this team just absolutely amazing and super, super strong. And it really takes a lot of work to get this team down. Whereas previously, I would use Night Sisters a lot of times just to go ahead and finish off a General Grievous group. Now it takes a little bit more effort. You can also use a General Grievous team to take down Sith Eternal Emperor. A lot of times you don't see him on defense, but if you run across the occasional C on defense, you can use General Grievous, but you're going to be swapping out one of the other droids in favor of Newt Gunray. Newt Gunray is another really good farm as well if you want to farm something like Lord Vader. Personally, I wouldn't recommend farming Lord Vader as your first Galactic Legend. There are a lot of better options out there, I would suggest. But anyway, that brings us to our next squad, and that is going to be another group of bounty hunters as well. And this group right here can counter Lord Vader. Not only does it counter Lord Vader, it's actually a really strong bounty hunter group inside of GAC that you can use with Fennec as a lead. As you notice right here, I do not have my Grief, Mando, or Zam upgraded. I would really recommend Zam if you're going to be doing GAC, getting her upgraded, getting her Omicron ability. That's going to make her really effective on this team inside of a bounty hunter group. You can just about run any bounty hunter group together and come out with a strong, strong team. But right here, getting Fennec upgraded, getting Bosk upgraded, and the rest of his team is going to work in your advantage for GAC and for territory wars also. Then we have Gas right here, General Skywalker with his 501st. He is an absolute beast on defense, on offense as well. He's really tough to take down if you have him modded properly, if you have the entire 501st team modded really well. Gas is just absolutely difficult to take down. You can use him in a variety of different ways. You can use him against Galactic Legends like Rey to help get rid of a Rey group that does not have Ben Solo inside of it. So using Gas in those ways is going to be useful to you. It's going to be help you in the long run as well because this team can counter so much out there, and it is nearly unstoppable. A lot of times inside of GAC, I end up having to use my Sith Eternal Emperor because I don't have other counters. I did run across one Gas just recently inside of GAC, but it did not have a proper 501st team. And I used my Traya just to absolutely wipe the floor with Gas. Did not even lose a squad member on my Traya team, even though my Traya team did not have Scion on it or any of the primary members of the Traya team able to wipe the floor. So be sure if you're going to get Gas upgraded, you're using him in the right way with a proper 501st team. Next, we have our troopers. And I'm not going to lie, troopers are an absolute foundation for your entire account starting early on inside of Galaxy of Heroes. Getting Veers Don Piet, again, is a requirement for the Executor. So it's mandatory that you get him up to Relic 8 if you're going to be working towards getting the Executor unlocked. Then you have Moff Gideon and Dark Trooper. Dark Trooper does so much work inside of this trooper group that I'm really considering getting him Relic much, much higher because he just does so much damage once he gets ramped up with the abilities from Piet and Veers as well. And I threw Stark in here as well because Stark is an okay fifth for the troopers, but he is a requirement for some other places inside of the journey guide. But I would honestly swap out Stark and throw in Range Trooper or Shore Trooper. Personally, I would use Range Trooper inside of a trooper group because it makes that group, it's basically like a mini Padme throwing protection up on the entire trooper group. Ideally swapping in Range Trooper. Mine is currently only gear 12. I do use my Range Trooper occasionally whenever I'm up against a team I know I need the extra protection for, and I'm positive that my team is faster and I'm able to get use out of him before he actually gets killed. Our next squad we're looking at right here is Emperor Palpatine, of course. Emperor Palpatine is one of the first ones you're going to be unlocking inside of the Journey Guide. He is on tier 1. Vader as well, getting him unlocked is almost not even really a challenge because you get so many different shards and so many different ways through getting achievements, and we're just actually progressing inside of the game. Then we have Thrawn right here. Thrawn is a good early ownership, getting his Chimera. He's not really as good as he used to be since he's had a bit of a nerf, but he still does really good work as an actual character inside of squads. I would actually probably use Tarkin in this group instead, but the only reason I have Thrawn in here is just because of some of his abilities and his ships. And then we have Mara Jade. Mara Jade is absolutely amazing inside of a Palpatine group. Be sure you're getting her Omicron ability if you're using her inside of Territory Wars. Even outside of Territory Wars, inside of GAC, she is still really, really good. It just feeds so much turn meter to Emperor Palpatine. Makes the group really strong as well. We've got our TIE Fighter pilot right here. TIE Fighter pilot, the ship for TIE Fighter pilot is a must because you have to have it to get the Executor unlocked. So getting the TIE Fighter pilot relicked out to relic 5 is a requirement for that. And also having that ship 7-star is going to give you another option inside of an Empire team. You can use a TIE Fighter pilot with a Grand Admiral Thrawn group, or you can use it with Tarkin as well. But again, really nice ship to have, really nice character. He's really useful in a lot of different situations if you know how to plug and play him in different squads. So, but primarily you just want to get him unlocked, get him a Relic 5. That way you get the ship as well, and you can get the Executor unlocked. The last two groups we're looking at right here are the Revan groups. You're going to have Jedi Knight Revan, Jolee, Bastila. Yoda is in that group as well. I use Yoda on defense with my Jedi Knight Revan inside of GAC. Gets me a lot of good holds. Mace Windu as a tank. You can also use someone like Old Ben. I would not recommend using General Kenobi with Jedi Knight Revan because you can use him on Padme much, much more effective there. But Mace is a good filler here as well. Old Ben, any tank will work as well for Jedi Knight Revan. By getting Jedi Knight Revan in here, he can actually counter bounty hunters. Also, he can be really useful inside of GC to counter squads like SLKR. So using Revan is going to be really good for you. So be sure you're going to be getting the farming up the squad necessary to get him unlocked. So here we have our final group, and that is Darth Revan. We all know that Darth Revan is getting a capital ship inside of the game. So Darth Revan, Sith Assassin. We're going to have Marauder as well because all three of those are going to have ships. Marauder already has a ship. Sith Assassin already has a ship. I personally use Sith Assassin in my mid account in a variety of different ways. I use her with Traya a lot, even though she's not geared very well. I'll use her because of the shock ability she has for the dispels that it throws on her to be able to increase her damage. But again, even at lower levels, Sith Assassin is really good. The ship is really good as well. And Darth Revan is really tough to counter if you don't have a really good group. I personally use HK-47 most of the time with Darth Revan. That way I'm allowed to use a Sith Assassin. And plus, I don't have her really geared up currently. So using HK-47 inside of a Sith Empire group gives a lot of really good uses in the group as well. But Malik, Revan, Bastila Shan. I was using the Darth Revan group yesterday on stream doing my GAC attacks. Had a Darth Revan group. All I was up against was a bug group. I think it was like a Relic 5 bug group inside of GAC. At first, it got a little bit sketchy because they were really geared up, had really nice mods on them. Got my Darth Revan rolling. And then we had shock up on everybody. Used Bastila Shan's wild lightning ability and wiped out the entire freaking team. So Bastila Shan is a really good farmer as well. Sith Marauder of himself is really good. But top on that, the ship that he brings to the board as well. We know his ship is going to be used inside of the new Sith Empire team. So having Revan, have the Assassin, having Marauder, all of these are going to go play hand in hand for you. So be sure you're going to be farming up, getting Darth Revan up. I personally, I had originally started on working on the profundity for this account, but I was like, no, I'm just going to wait a while, farm up some of the other things that I need inside of this account, then work on getting all the things that are going to be necessary for getting the new capital ship for the Sith Empire. But anyway, y'all, these are my recommendations for a 2023 farming guide inside of Galaxy of Heroes. So let me know, what are you currently working on right now? Are you farming Galactic Legends? Are you farming squads inside of GAC? Are you farming ships? A lot of people overlook ships and they lose out so many great opportunities by having a really good fleet. But anyway, appreciate all of you. Thanks so much for hanging out, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one. Until then, much love, peace out, and we'll see you soon.